details until you look at it up close. So keeping that in mind, we want to purposely draw less details on the background elements, or otherwise we will lose depth in the drawing. Poser gave us pretty straight tree trunks with no side branches popping out from nowhere. We could keep it like this, but I'd like to make it a little bit more organic, and so I add some tree branches moving out from the sides of the tree trunks. To make it look a bit more pretty and interesting, I decided to connect the two trees in the back together, creating an arch at the top where the weaving intertwines. Now that we have a solid sketch of the background and I am happy with how everything looks, I want to add some other details before moving on to the character sketching. Because the female characters are tree-like creatures and will carry tree-like features, we want to make sure they are part of the background, or at least very much at ease in their environment rather than as though they're just passing by or were plastered on there. Bringing back the layer which hold the character outline, I focus on the character hanging upside down as she's interacting with the background more than any other character. After lowering the opacity on the background layer, I zoom in and start drawing branches and roots twirling their way downwards as though she's tangled into them and using them to hold her suspended in the air. The character at the bottom right is also touching elements in the background, so we want to make sure there are some branches there to support her pose. Initially, I didn't necessarily want there to be branches around the two characters at the front, but I realize I find the front tree a bit lacking in interesting details, so I draw in some more branches and roots that support the two front characters, giving them pretty and fun shapes. Once I'm done, I hide the character layer again and then select a white color and make my brush size a bit larger. I then create a new layer between the layer which contains the newly drawn elements which interact with the characters and the layer which contains the background sketch. I then start painting in some white underneath the elements which interact with the character so that the background sketch lines aren't visible through them anymore. Now come the final touches. Since this is a forest environment, I'm going to add some flowers and leaves here and there to fancy up the